Heathrow Airport is warning of delays because of technical problems with its check-in and boarding systems. The cause hasn't been given, but cyber attacks have caused major issues at other European airports. Officials in Belgium say at least 9 flights were cancelled at Brussels Airport and many others were delayed. Berlin Airport said the attackers targeted the check-in system, causing long delays to departures. Well, we can speak to Simon Calder, travel correspondent. Thank you for joining us, Simon. I can see that you're in the Czech Republic. Tell us, how serious do you think this cyber attack is?
Well, it's extremely worrying. And of course, there will be tens of thousands of passengers affected. And I can spin through what is happening where. But the fact that this is happening on a busy late summer's day across Europe is very, very worrying. And of course, the airlines will want to know what went wrong and what's being done to stop it in the future. Piecing together the information we have from various airports across Europe, it seems clear that this is software that is operated by a company called Collins Aerospace. They sort out the check-in and the baggage registration for a large number of airlines at various airports. Exactly as you say, Brussels in Belgium appears to be worst affected. Berlin also hit. London Heathrow delays there. And crucially, well, at Brussels, they're saying, as well as the flight cancellations, that you shouldn't even go to the airport unless you know for certain that your flight is going to be departing. Berlin is saying expect delays. I've got a couple of cancellations going in and out of there. For example, Eurowings to Nice, Paris on Air France. But looking at Heathrow, the main problem is actually long delays. For example, the flight from Berlin to Heathrow that was due in about 2 hours ago, BA 999. That's currently over Rotterdam at the moment, and that clearly is going to mean that people miss a lot of connections. And the same thing going outbound from Heathrow. So, for instance, the first flight of the day, 6 a.m. TAP Portugal to Lisbon, that was 2 hours late leaving. That's going to mean missed connections in the Portuguese capital. And then the two crucial hubs, Amsterdam Schiphol and Paris Charles de Gaulle, well, the first flights out from Heathrow on KLM and on Air France, respectively, were 2.5 to 3 hours late. As a result of that, again, missed connections. And given the way that aviation, of course, is under such high pressure and everything needs to work well, I'm afraid we could see further things unraveling as the day goes on. The main message is assume your flight is going ahead unless you hear otherwise, but be prepared for delays and disruption.
Simon, looking at the numbers coming into us at the moment, we know that there have been nearly 100 delays at Heathrow, 70 in Brussels, 15 in Berlin. Are we likely to see any more at this point, do you think?
Well, yes, because if you take, for example, there's an EasyJet flight that set off from Lisbon, which also appears to be having some disruption, to Birmingham. It was over an hour late leaving. That flight then goes back to Lisbon. It's supposed to be going off to Funchal in Madeira, then off to Marrakesh. And the low-cost airlines, although they don't seem to be as badly affected, once their schedules start getting hit, then that causes problems because, of course, they allow typically half an hour between a flight arriving and when it leaves again with a fresh contingent of passengers on board. Worth saying that EasyJet believe that they don't think there will be major problems. But honestly, who knows what will happen? I fear that with planes being late and out of position, we could see some deterioration before things start to get better. And of course, questions being asked. Meanwhile, if you are on a flight, then it is the airline's responsibility. If it is cancelled or delayed severely, if you miss a connection, they are responsible for getting you to your destination as soon as possible, providing meals and accommodation as necessary. But you won't be getting any cash compensation under air passenger rights rules because it manifestly isn't their fault. And they are furious at yet more airport disruption that is costing them a fortune.
Simon Calder, thank you for running through all of those developments and, of course, that all-important advice. Thank you. That's Simon Calder, our travel correspondent in the Czech Republic.